Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios. Here is your host, Derek Pearson. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to it on a Monday, one-on-one. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we've got a good one for you, so buckle up. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter Live. This video stream is up so you can see what's going on. Thank the folks from Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul for taking care of our student athletes. We sent several of them out there last night to get their first taste and sampling of Charles Phillips and what he does out there. And, of course, the reviews were exceptional. Fried chicken, catfish, whatever your thing is, Charles hooks you up. So we can do that. 402-464-5685, the Starter Heyman text line, the Honda Lincoln hotline, if you want to be a part of what we're doing and participate in the conversation. As a part of what we do and in the evolution of the ticket, the student athletes are building their own way and kind of setting themselves up, getting comfortable in front of microphones and telling their story rather than having people tell their story. And it's much more interesting to get their perspective on what it means to be a Husker and how they get through their week from day to day and from practice to practice or game to game. We talk about their families and how they ended up in Lincoln, Nebraska, because quite frankly, each one is a pretty amazing story of a lot of really amazing people accumulating in one space to get a student athlete here to Lincoln, Nebraska. One of those people joins us today, and I'm thrilled because she's going to take over what was Talking Tens, and we don't know what she's going to call it yet. We'll kind of pick her brain on that as well, but she's all everything. Scholastic All-America, 4.0 GPA. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
Look at you. Look at you. Let's bring in Kinsey Davis from Nebraska Gymnastics. How are you? Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm doing well.
Like this whole thing, this whole process, and getting to know and giving exposure to all the student athletes who are willing to share those parts of their person. And it's a lot. Like it's a lot. But in this, I'm able to identify pretty quickly people who would succeed at this. And so when you came on Talking Tens, and I went, yep, that's the next one right there. There she is. There she is.
Thank you.
No, good stuff all around. So first of all, you got to go home.
Mhm.
How was home? What did you do this summer?
It was good. So I went home for 6 weeks and I had planned several trips before I left Lincoln. And I told my parents, I was like, by the way, I'm going to be in and out. I have my plans. Like, don't mind me. They had a car for me, which I'm very grateful for. It was my sister's car, and she recently was able to buy a new one. So she's, moving up in life. So I was like, let me use your car. So I'm grateful for that. But one of the first things I did the first second weekend was I went to the beach. I went to Wrightsville Beach in Wilmington and visited one of my high school friends who goes to UNCW, and she lives in the cutest little beach house and works at the cutest little seafood place. And we just had a couple beach days for 4 days, I think. And yeah, I really needed that. I'm not even a beach girl because I'm a redhead, so I've heard. And I haven't been to the beach in I don't remember how long, but yeah, I was excited to go. And then the following weekend, I went to the mountains. My aunt has a cabin up in Bryson City.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's really pretty up there.
Your accent just came out. Your accent
really
just
pretty.
came. Oh, look. She let a little bit of that Carolina out. She did.
Leave her alone.
That's so good. No, that's amazing. I'm always intrigued because
Wait, on what word?
there you went.
Oh, it's really pretty up there.
Yeah. You went all the way out. That's amazing. Okay,
it
so
happens.
I think it should happen more. I think it should happen more because not everybody's from here. And so sharing who you are is important. It allows people to know that home matters. Deep down, I mean, you're a Carolinian, so you just happen to be a Husker, and the two things combined. Let's talk about how you got here, and usually that starts with the parents. Let's talk about the family. Who are mom and dad?
Well, my mom and my dad are UNL alumni. They were both on the gymnastics team here. Both had a similar path to myself, like got recruited, ended up going to Nebraska for gymnastics. My mom is from Chicago, but she trained in Oregon for a little while. And then my dad's from Georgia in Atlanta. So they met here at Nebraska, actually the first week of school. And the rest is history.
That's a great story. That's a great story.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did not follow in those footsteps. I'm still waiting for my Prince Charming.
Own
but
path. Own path.
I mean, it could be somebody you met the first week. You don't know.
Maybe, I guess.
Come back around.
Yeah, that would be a full circle moment.
And you got a whole nother year this year coming where you actually get to be social again. And you get to meet folks. Did they tell you why they picked Nebraska?
I think just for the same opportunities of, going far and really prioritizing gymnastics in school, the same resources I have today. My dad, he ended up going to the Olympics in 1988, the year he graduated from here. So I think that he was set on that, and, Nebraska was the place to do that, and that was his goals. So, he had a successful college career and then went right off to the Olympics to kind of hit his peak. And then I feel like, in the back of his mind, he wanted to accomplish that. And same for my mom's strong gymnastics program. She had gone on a couple visits, and she tells me how she was telling her parents she wanted to visit Nebraska, and they were like, what? And then she went and she was like, yeah, I'm going to go here. And they were like, okay.
I guess this is a thing. So give the names, mom and dad.
My mom is Elizabeth Bertolotti, maiden name Davis, and my dad is Kevin Davis.
Look, that legacy thing matters.
Oh, it does. I literally, part of the reason that I did commit here is not because of my parents, but because when I got here, their names were on the wall and my dad's face was on the wall. And I was like, oh, wow, that is really pretty insane, actually. And everybody knew them. There was a small little Lincoln family and community around here. And the legacy does absolutely matter. I mean, it made a big deal out of it.
Well, I mean, and to think that as you're being recruited, did you reach out to Nebraska or did Nebraska reach out to you? How did that work?
Both. I think I reached out to Nebraska kind of in a lump sum of several schools, and then kind of had, my order of, because I was pretty young. I was in 8th grade. So but they were one of the last schools I visited. I stayed around home a little bit just because I think I was younger and I, wasn't super deep into the recruiting process yet. And I was like, oh, I'll stay around here. And then as I got older and competed more, and more Big Ten schools started showing interest, I started actually, hopping on a plane and going on an unofficial and doing that type of thing. But I think both. I think they really demonstrated a strong recruiting moment for me, which also is great because that's what made me ultimately feel really wanted in the program, and not just oh, come if you want. The
one factor matters. It does. You said you walked on campus, you saw their names, and you saw them in this space. What else did you see the first time you came to Nebraska and looked around as a potential student athlete?
Well, we drove from Kansas City the first time, so I saw a lot of corn on the drive from Kansas City to Lincoln.
Yeah.
But then after that, I was pleasantly surprised because I think the first time I came, I was 15, barely, and I didn't know what to expect in Nebraska. That is really halfway across the country for me. I don't know. So I think that in the back of my mind, I was a little nervous. I didn't know what it was going to be like. I thought it was really going to be actual cornfields and nothing. So I do remember stepping on the campus and kind of seeing downtown and Haymarket. And I do remember being wait, this is so cute. And so I think I was pleasantly surprised. And, we have this amazing facility now, the Allen Training center, but even before at Maple Lee, like that was a huge gym, like compared to my club gym.
Mhm.
So even that was just, of course, like as a young athlete, when you don't think about school or anything, just like starstruck with, the resources athletically. So yeah, everything like checked out really good.
We're talking to Kinsey Davis of Huskers women's gymnastics, and coming off quite the year, relocating yourself in the program, right? It's pretty cool to watch. You talked about the early recruiting at eighth grade.
Mm-hmm.
How is it possible to know what you want to do and where you want to do it at that age? How is that possible?
In my opinion, I don't really think it is fully,
Right.
truthfully.
Yeah.
I've seen it before when people commit pretty young and they follow all the way through and they end up loving the school. And I think that it can work out like that. But I kind of had to be, aware of what others around me were saying. My parents definitely wanted me to make a good choice, not on the flashy, gyms. Like, it's my dad actually, he always said it's not what you train in, it's like what you do in the gym, like not where you train. But yeah, I think a lot of highly competitive schools who are recruiting all kind of offer, good resources academically and athletically. So I don't think you can go super wrong there, but there's definitely is differences in schools. Even like our life skills has been incredibly helpful to me for what my goals are, which I recently got the Sam Foltz Award at the Night at the Lead. And my goal is to get Heart and Soul by my senior year. So that relies on a lot of community service and like extra activities outside the gym and outside of school. And this is something that I want to do myself that no one's like making me do, but I'm just passionate about it. And so each program might not care so much about that. They might only, throw the sport down your throat or something like that. As well as just, I don't know, offering different things. So when you are young that way, you don't really know what you want until you're older.
How will you provide the sort of service and service level that you're talking about? Like, how do you want to affect this community while you're here?
Well, some things I've done is I visit with superfan Stuart Shepard. I'm sure you guys are aware.
Yep.
I like to visit with him as often as I can. We've thrown a birthday party for him. I've also volunteered at like Christ School's daycare. Not sure entirely where it is now off the top of my head, but that was really fun. Some of my teammates and I went. And then overall, towards the end of season and the semester, there was locally going on School is Cool, and I was asked if I wanted to talk at some of the elementary schools, and I said yes, I would love to do that. And myself and like 3 other people would go, one including Nicklin Hames, who's obviously a huge name here. So I just kind of want to jump at those opportunities. So really anything that gives back to like kids around the community or special needs or anything like that I can offer that, can help someone or just like make someone excited.
I can tell you that you haven't met your super fan yet. Her name's Ellie.
It's true.
Rico's daughter.
Okay.
And she's adorable and she loves
She's a firecracker.
Oh.
We got a pool, a bigger pool than we had, and we just hung out in it this weekend.
Let's see. She's got a spunky personality, I can tell.
Yeah.
How old is she?
She just turned 3 last month.
Oh my gosh, she's a baby.
She is a problem.
Yeah.
My gosh, side note, if you ever want me to babysit, I love little kids. I've been wanting
this
to
is
babysit
why
somebody.
Perfect.
You don't understand. This is why I said
babysit her. She's so cute.
Well, she also has a little brother who turns 1 next month.
Oh my gosh, even better. Babies.
So
I have
he
such
is-
baby fever right now. I will babysit your children.
He is also a problem.
well, that's because you're their dad.
He's not that much bigger than the other babies in the baby room at daycare, but apparently he's a bully.
Oh, no. Oh my gosh. What's his name?
Cade, we call him KJ.
Oh my gosh, KJ's my nickname.
Yeah.
There you go.
See,
Perfect.
this is I knew this would happen. I absolutely knew this would.
Forget
I absolutely knew. No, I absolutely knew this was going to
It's
happen.
like, here you go. Take these.
Yeah, this is how this. Like you were the. When it comes to student athletes, a lot of it's energy and vibe. And you can tell whether somebody's legitimately into the thing that they're into. And those people draw you into what they're doing, which is why I know Husker fans are going to fall deeper in love with you, because you have the spirit. Like 4.0 students, 4.0 doesn't happen by accident. Where does that come from with you? Is it because it can't be accidental? It has to be purposeful. Where does it come from?
I just have this fire inside of me. I'm such a perfectionist. Like, I seriously, since I've been like 8 years old, it's just like if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it all the way and I'm going to commit everything or nothing. But what's funny is I've always tried my best. I've always worked hard. But in high school, I did not get straight A's. I mean, I would get several B's. I was awful at math. I'm still awful at math. And I was like, whatever. And, that's fine too. But then when I got to college, I just, I was going to try, and then I was doing well, and then I wanted to try harder. And then once I got it the first time, I was like, oh my gosh. And then once I saw I was capable of it, I've just been like, I know where the bar is set now. So I just strive for that every time. But I definitely have also maybe had a tear fall when I got my first A- in college, which, yeah. But it's been 2 semesters since that happened, so I've gotten 4.0s both times. But
I can see you tearing up just talking about it.
Oh yeah, that's the one that ruined my cumulative, but it's okay.
What? Because you're a perfectionist, and that gymnastics is such a detailed sport. What's more difficult, the 4.0 or the 10?
Oh, the 10.
Controllable at all?
Partly. Also,
Judges.
oh, that is so
Judges.
hard. Yeah. Also,
the judges.
syllabus,
All the judges.
subjectivity. Well, that can come with teachers too, because they can grade stuff and be like, "Well,
you fail at this.
wasn't good."
Right.
That paper. No. I think, like, how feasible it is. Okay, here's a perfect example. Once I got it the first time, I don't think I was expecting that, as I just mentioned. Like, I was just gonna try, and it kind of happened. But then once I did get it, I was like, oh, I can totally do it. The 10 has yet to come, so I don't think that it's like too far out of reach, but it definitely is intimidating because it hasn't happened. So it still is like a hypothetical.
Is this an all-around year for you? Is this where you want to be the last person performing on every event?
I would love to. Unfortunately, I don't think floor will happen.
Why?
I have a really bad back, and I'm already not a super strong tumbler. And again, the thing about trying and going all the way is like when I did try to tumble a lot, it was just kind of hindering all my other events as well. I have like a really bad back, and so I can't train the same as everyone, or if I try to, then I like can't walk the next day.
Right.
So I did try. I always try, but I came in, messing around with some stuff, but ultimately not ready to put a routine together. And then coming into my sophomore year, I tried more. I tried really to think about what passes, I could do. And I kind of went all the way through the fall until it got around time to really put it on like the floor and the hard landings. And we had an inter squad coming up, and I kind of like landed wrong and it hurt my back. And then I was like, well, now I don't know if I can do everything else. And then once that just set me back a couple days. But once I did come back, I was like, okay, I'm just going to focus on 3 events. And that's what happened. And then I, honestly excelled this year with just the 3. So my theory is just to do those 3 as perfect as I can. And, part of me wants to chase floor, but not if it's going to affect everything else. So we'll see, not out of the picture, but right now, not really what I'm working towards.
Help me with this, because watching the rotations and watching the different members of the roster kind of being maneuvered and manipulated. But I noticed that the person who anchors this thing has a different level of responsibility, and there's a different accountability because everything's in front of you. You can see what people are doing. You have to wait. Your preparation time kind of fall. How do you handle being at the back end of the 3 events? Because you see everybody else and you get to hear Heather coaching them all. How do you handle that?
This is a really good question. I don't think I've entirely figured it out. I mean, I manage it, but
Yeah.
it's not like entirely comfortable. Bars, I try to remember that, as you said, there's kind of a different responsibility, and it's just common knowledge that if you are towards the back, it's kind of a more dependable role, and maybe you've like, earned that for a reason. So on bars, I try to think like I've earned this to get myself confident and like less insecure. Vault, we've already talked about this. I don't even think about anything on vault. Like, I don't even know if you put me like anywhere in vault, I feel like I'd do it the same every time. And then bars is just trying to get myself to feel confident, like trying to not, think about each individual person. Like it's hard, especially warming up when you're like, okay, 3 have warmed up, or I'm after her, because you have to know when you're coming. But I try to like, you can't make it speed up anymore. So I try to just focus on myself and remember that, I'm there for a reason. And then beam, that's an interesting story because my freshman year, I was definitely like second or third, and I was fine with that. If you put me up like second, like perfect. But again, with the kind of, it means something to be later. And then this year, I changed my routine around. I put a triple series in. I really wanted to strive for like a little bit more difficulty because freshman year I couldn't quite break the 9/8s. And I saw some of my teammates with the more unique routine scoring higher. And that's exactly what happened to me. So once I kind of upped the skill, it was just about remaining consistent. I mean, it's about my performance at the end of the day and not so much my teammates. Like how I can help the team is doing my job. So that's how I, approached practice and the inter squads. And then eventually I just started getting moved back until finally I was like 5th. And then, but that was scary for me because even the first meet, I had a bad first meet of this past season. And I was like, it's because I'm so late in the lineup. And then I like moved up slightly, but then she moved me back later. And it is just repetition on the floor, like doing dance and pretending that it's been like 2 minutes instead of 10. But yeah, that's difficult because you do get cold and you do get worried because you're thinking more.
And you see the scores. You see the scores in front of you. You're like, oh.
Which I do sometimes try not to look. I don't know. If you ask me in season, I'm sure I'd have like a better, telling of what's true. Cause I feel like, do I look or do I not look? I don't really know. But yeah, I mean, at some point in time, I had to go from literally second to towards the very end. And there's several times especially on beam, like that's kind of the trickiest, like whatever, trying to actually stay on the apparatus, like definitely you can hear a fall or you can see a fall. And I had to go after a fall like more than one time and I knew they fell.
Right.
But I just, once I'm up there, I'm in my own group. I don't think about that. I'm trying to do my own job,
There's so much to this. We have a couple of texts I want to get to as well. We'll throw it to break here. Kinsey Davis from Husker Gymnastics is with us on One-on-One. We got to talk about the coaches in your family. We got to talk about the rest of this roster. We got lots to cover here on One-on-One.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
They say one great thing leads to another, and that's especially true when you visit a Great Clips salon. When you sit down for a haircut with the skilled and friendly stylist at one of our thousands of convenient Great Clips locations, they'll not only make your hair look great, they'll make you feel great too. And that's something you can't help but share with the world. Download our online check-in app today and opt in to get a Ready Next text when you're up next. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
I present the fruitcake. Long the subject of jokes, ridicule, derision, but did the fruitcake accept its place in the culinary totem pole? No! The fruitcake sought to rise to its full potential at Beatrice Bakery. Premium nuts, high-quality fruits, and the delectable trio of brandy, bourbon, and rum. Grandma's fruitcake, is no punchline, but a decadent treat that packs a punch of flavor.
Check out Grandma's Fruitcake and all the delicious desserts at Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of yum.
Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning into Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side.
Seasons change, but your land stays the same. You need the right solutions to keep you moving. That's why you rely on Acres Equipment, your Nebraska-owned premier John Deere dealership. Whether you're harvesting, protecting your crops, feeding the herd, maintaining your lawn, improving your business, or letting off some steam, Acres has what you need to get the job done. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, I got in a crash. I'm okay. I was wearing my seatbelt.
People count on you to buckle up.
Click it or ticket. Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Pillar Restaurant Group is proud to announce the full opening of our brick-and-mortar venue-at-home store, Lincoln's new premier specialty grocers. This store is home to our brand new Butchery by Venue. Get the finest Nebraska steaks, hand-cut in-house by our butcher, prepared for our restaurants, and available for you to take home. With hand-selected specialty seafood, charcuterie, wine, bourbon, and liquor options. Come in today to see what we have to offer at 70th and Pioneers in the Pioneer Woods Shopping Center. Open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Saturday.
On the Block with Strick and Bach.
He obviously played against MJ when he was with the Bulls. Could you tell when you guarded Wizards, MJ, that is different than Bulls?
I mean, he still was crafty. He still was very cerebral, still had great hands. So his post-up game and his mid, all that stuff was still efficient. You know, his actual pump fake game was even more effective. He just didn't have that same first burst.
Weekdays from 4 to 6 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to One-on-One on a Monday. Appreciate you guys hanging out. 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman text line, Honda Lincoln hotline. If you want to add to the conversation, you got some curiosities you need to get out. All of that. Magic, the answer to that question is yes. To that question, you are appreciated, kind sir. You are a great ambassador for Husker sports fans and athletics. From the text line as well, I was always curious when all those gymnasts are spinning through the air with doing 20 twists, how in the heck do they know where they're at?
Primarily it's air awareness. It's not always what you spot, but that definitely is a helpful technique. It depends what you're doing as well. Based on the event, I'd say like vault and beam are a lot of spotting. Bars, you kind of have to like be one with the bar. If you're doing a release move, you should be looking at the bar, but when you're in a handstand, you don't really look at anything, so you just kind of have to balance. And I feel like that's how it is with floor too. Like you just have to be confident in your body and your air awareness. But yeah.
So, I mean, is that muscle memory? Is that spatial memory? What is that?
It's muscle memory. If you're, developing a good technique as a young gymnast, regardless of how old you are, if you start young or older, you kind of all have to start at the same level. And depending like how seriously you take, a good foundation and technique, I think that can take you really far. Personally, I think I'm more of a technical gymnast than like a trickster, but some people who kind of just grow up throwing things and then they repeat it, then it does become muscle memory.
Give me that again, between the difference between the two types.
Oh, okay. So, there's like a technical gymnast, okay, and then there's, for lack of better words, like just a talent trickster that just can try something.
Talent
and they
versus
can do it.
skill? Would that be?
More like, I would say like talent. I don't want to say like talent versus technique, because you can definitely have both, and it's really like I'm not referring to one or the other. But okay, so floor. I mentioned I'm not the strongest tumbler. Like if somebody just tried like something and then repeated it and could get it.
Mhm.
But for me, like I need a good, like I'm very type A, like what do I need to do? What leg needs to go? Where do my arms need to go? It's like when you learn a full. This is also common, I feel like, in cheerleading.
Mhm.
You kind of just, it's trial and error. And then once you get it, you just continue to do it. But I remember when I learned my full, like there was a very like set, spot, wrap one arm, like keep your hips open, whatever. And then some people just like throw it, and if they got
They can
it,
just
they
do
can-
it.
Yeah.
They can just do it. See, okay, that makes sense to me, because me as an athlete, if I saw it, I could do it. But if you told me how to do it, I would mess it up.
Okay, yeah. So I would say probably I'm the opposite.
Okay.
Well, I'm a little bit of both. Another good example is my bar dismount. So in club, I used to do what's called like a full out.
Mhm.
So it's a double flip and you full on the second one. So there's a lot of different ways you can do a half in, half out. You can do a full tuck and then a full like full. So I would watch, these college gymnasts who are trying to stick it all the time, and I would try to like learn this technique, like watch and rewatch, and try, an arm thing. I'd try like my coach had me like clapping at one point when I should be like preparing to twist, whatever. And then before my senior year of high school, I tried a different dismount, which was a double layout, which is a double twist, but in like a different position. And nobody taught it to me. I literally taught it to myself. I just tried it a couple times and picked it up. And now it's literally the one I compete. And I did the other one for literally my whole life since I was like 13. And then I learned this when I was like 17.
So you know that you're not normal, right? You know that you're barely human.
Yeah.
Right? You're barely human. Like this is some alien stuff that as you talk about, you know what, I put these two fulls together, and most people really, if I asked them to roll over on a mat without hurting themselves, that they probably wouldn't do that. How much work do you put in with a particular skill before you activate it into your routine? So if you're doing a thing, are you in the pits for 3 months before you're willing to try this? What's the process?
It's different for each skill, but definitely like what you were kind of getting at. Definitely want to start in a pit and just fling yourself in the air. And then even if you do have a good technique, even if someone's telling you how to do it step by step and you try it, it's not going to be perfect like on the first try. But I would just say until you're safe and confident, like you could be safe and confident, but you might not have done enough reps. So maybe you're not really safe to move forward. But it's usually like kind of a mutual thing. I mean, my coaches were really supportive once I did figure out the new bar dismount, but it was my decision. Like, I'm pretty sure I did one day in the pit and I was like, let's put an 8-incher in. And then we did. And then, yeah, it's just up to me. And the thing too with gym is it's half mental. So if someone else is telling you to move it somewhere and you're like, no can do, then it's not going to happen. But, if you have like a good system going and you both feel confident or come up with a compromise, then
do you borrow from teammates? Like you see a teammate do a thing and you go, you know what, I need that.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because I think you can definitely learn from your teammates. Like having a team is like a really strong like asset to watch and learn, especially if you don't know how to do something, and having opposite strengths too. Can be beneficial. But what Brian, my bar coach, actually helped me once too was last year, I had one of my teammates who had one type of dismount that looked a certain way on her. And I'm like, oh, I should try, like, I want mine to look like that. And he's like, but you do it your way. So like, why would you want to make it look like hers? But so sometimes it can be really beneficial. And sometimes if it's working for you, like, don't overthink it. I'm a huge overthinker.
What? 4.0? Yeah. No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. From all of that, we were talking earlier this morning, previously about athletes competing with themselves rather than their environment, their surroundings, their situation. For you, the amount of work that you put in, is that dictated by people, coaches saying, hey, work on this? Or is this a thing that you control because you know what you should be doing and how this is supposed to work?
Again, both. It's a gray area.
Yeah.
Definitely, especially freshman year, just because they've gotten to know me better, so they definitely take my,
They'll
opinion
listen to
in.
you? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But especially freshman year and even now, it's kind of the coach's job to come up with the assignment. So unless you're physically like in a lot of pain where you're like, no, like can't actually do the landing this many times, I mean, it's pretty average to just try and like respect the coaches and do the assignment you're told. At the end of the day, I do know my body, so I do know what's good for me, but that doesn't mean that I just get to create my own numbers. But I will say that they're really good at compromising. So if you put in the work halfway, that's honestly like what I pride myself on is I work so hard on the front end. So then if something comes up, like, they totally listen to me and respect me and know I'm being honest. So just put in the work ahead of time. And then if you have something that you want to bring up or something that you're like, hey, I don't think this is actually working as well for me, I think that individualizing assignments is a huge factor in college athletics because it's not one size fits all. And that is very club. That is very like everybody do this. And that does not suit each individual. So that's like something I love about college is they definitely don't do it like that. They definitely like to see what works for each person.
What's the line for you for injury, hurt and injury, right?
Ooh.
Right?
You're asking the wrong person because even when I'm injured, I will literally act like I am not.
But I get that, right? Like I absolutely get that to get through an entire gymnastics season from off season through without injury is almost next to impossible. So where do you draw the line between, you know what, pump the brakes, Kinsey, you need to chill, to tough through it, we got work to do?
I think just experience of the sport through all the years I've done it kind of teaches me that, and I do know my body. I will almost never, get out of a competition. So one being freshman year, it was February 7th, and
And she knows it. Like look.
What time was it?
Yeah, like
probably around 4 p.m. But I did a dismount wrong on bars, landed it wrong, like slid forward as my feet were down, and I hurt my heel badly, and I knew it in the moment. Like I definitely knew it. I literally crawled off the mat, and it wasn't my ankle, so some people were kind of confused because they were like, I don't know what to do about it. But after an MRI, I ended up like tearing my heel pad off my bone, but it's like superficial.
Say that again.
I tore my heel pad, which is the superficial soft tissue on the bottom of your heel, the squishy part.
I have a heel pad?
Yes, Rico. But I've never heard, like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say they tore it off the bone.
So I am prone to the most unusual injuries of all time, and the doctor has only ever seen it one other time in his entire career. Some guy who was in like a construction accident, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
But so what
Construction
happened
accident,
was
gymnastics.
honestly, kind of the same thing. But we warmed up vault, went to bars. That's when it happened. I put this heel cup and taped it, and so it was like a high heel kind of because it was like that on a silicone thing. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna go to beam now. And then I literally was doing beam and like not touching my heel to the beam. I was doing it all on tippy toe, which honestly works out for beam. It's okay. And then I went back and we changed Leos and it was time to compete. And so I hadn't done vault since I heard it, and I couldn't like run normally, but I still competed vault. So that's that. And then I went to bars, and that was my first event title. Was that me on bars because I was like so mad that I couldn't vault to what I thought I could. So I like took it out on bars, and I actually got the event title on that. And then I went to beam and also hit that. So that was that.
Yeah, so she'll be using the heel pad for.
But then I was out afterwards for everything for the next week, and then I came back on bars the following week because they only had 5 people, so they did 5 of 5 count. So the next meet I came back on bars, and I think I exhibitioned beam, and then the next meet I did bars and beam, And then finally the last meet was Big Tens. And that was the first time I vaulted. And I actually got my career high on vault at that meet. But I did vault, bars, and beam. And then the season was over. And then we went to regionals, which I just made on bars because I don't even think I had enough, like, really to calculate a good score for
well, that's why I asked about the next event, the all around, because it helps you get into other spaces when it comes to off season stuff. So, it's a tough decision.
I want so bad. I have gone back and forth. Like, I want to do it all, but physically right now, I'm not planning on it, but I'm also not closing the door completely.
I don't think doors close for you. I think they just kind of wait for you.
I just think don't tempt me because I practiced today. You'll watch me try and start tumbling right now.
Well, that's the part of it, right? So then I want to ask, because how does this coaching staff boundary you? Because they have to be careful in not limiting exception, right? If you're an elite athlete, they don't want to get in the way of it, but they also have a responsibility to protect you. So when Kinsey gets her hair on fire and decides, let's go, on a scale of 1 to 10, when does Coach Brink tap you on the shoulder and say, pump the brakes?
A lot. She not a lot, but she definitely listens, and she definitely is observant if you are like down or like not yourself, in which we all go, I'm fine. So it kind of is us.
Shocker.
But there have been times, I want to quote, when I have not been fine, and I told her. So when she asked me, and there have been times where I really did take a break. But yeah, that's good to mention as well. That same season, when I was trying to like ease back into like each event, I did not just get thrown into beam. I had to kind of work and practice against other girls to who's going to get the spot, because I think that partly she didn't want to just be like, here, do your whole thing, because she wasn't sure if I was really like ready for it yet. But again, like, she gave me numbers to do and I did them. So at that point, if you're kind of undeniable in the fact that you can handle it and you're hitting it, that's kind of how I ended up doing it back at Big Tens. But yeah, it's a good compromise. Like I said, like, the point is that she, didn't force me to do anything. It was in my hands if I could do it or not. And if I were not me and I couldn't do it, then I just as easily would not have done it. But I am me and I wanted to do it and I could do it. So that's how that happened.
I can just see you two just snorting each other forehead to forehead. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to do it.
Best relationship. We have the best relationship.
Because you're so much alike.
HB?
Yes, you both are. Oh my goodness gracious. We'll throw it a break. We'll come back, close out one-on-one with Kinsey Davis. I had questions. Got to talk about the parents and the coaching aspect of it. And then we got to ask her thoughts on Baker Mayfield to her Carolina Panthers. We'll be right back.
Watch live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. You're listening to One-on-One with DP on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Registration is now open for all fall sports leagues through Lincoln Parks and Rec. Adult volleyball, kickball, softball, and youth NFL flag football. Competitive and recreational leagues are available, so whether you're an athlete, a former athlete, or a wannabe athlete, there's a league for you. Plus, check out their paid opportunities for officials and referees. Contact Lincoln Parks and Rec to learn more, or head to teamsideline.com/LincolnNE before July 24th to register your team. That's teamsideline.com/LincolnNE.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order your Wingstop online at 28th and Superior, 50th and O Street, and 29th and Pine Lake.
We have 2 boys, so we needed more space. We lived in a townhouse, so we decided to build.
Casey Bowman and her husband Joe built their first home with us. This is Bob Benish of Aspen Builders. Working with the Bowmans was fantastic.
After the first meeting, we really liked them as people.
I was really skeptical about the whole building process, more so than Joe was. If there were problems or issues along the way, they called and explained everything. They just really helped ease my mind.
They were really good about giving us options as far as what fit in the budget, what didn't fit in the budget. They have a designer, Rachel.
She was amazing. She was very helpful in making sure that our house turned out good. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change the lot. I wouldn't change colors. I love everything about it. Everything. It's perfect for us.
Like the Bowmans, you too can make your dream home a reality. Call us at 423-6811 or online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning into Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Seasons change, but your land stays the same. You need the right solutions to keep you moving. That's why you rely on Acres Equipment, your Nebraska-owned premier John Deere dealership. Whether you're harvesting, protecting your crops, feeding the herd, maintaining your lawn, improving your business, or letting off some steam, Acres has what you need to get the job done. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to One on One with DP, sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Final segment of One on One before we hand it over to the Captain Show. Again, no Rashawn Jackson this week. So Nick and Rico will hang on and carry you through till 2 o'clock. But Kinsey Davis is here from Husker Gymnastics, and a big part of it. So you are I'm officially handing the reins of the Gymnastics Show to you, and you've talked about or thought about, some of the things that you would want to add to this thing. First up, generally what I tell people, you got to have the parentals on. You got to have the parentals on first, right? So when you talk to your parents, do you talk to them about gymnastics as parents or as people or as gymnasts, former gymnasts? How do you?
Both. Again, all the answers are both.
Yeah.
Okay, you had me at first of parents because it's like, it used to be like, oh, I can't get this right. Or like, this is so good. Like that. But also former gymnasts because I'll be like, like my toe on releve, like it's so hard because it's not even. So like when I'm landing on that one leg, like you know what I mean? It's so hard. They're like, yeah, like I know. Like they'll like totally know what I'm talking about.
Like I would think that's a big part of the discussion.
Oh yeah.
But there are times when you just want mom and dad. Like you
Oh
just
yes.
right. You just want mom and dad. Listen, Mr. Olympian, I just need for you to be dad right now.
Yeah, I don't struggle with that so much now. I think as a kid, because I took it more personally. Like, well, I
You
definitely
take it
was-
less personally now.
Also, no. But now I like realize like that it's okay that they're like that and it's cool that they're parents. But like when I was a teenager, like I just didn't want to hear it. But no, my poor parents, honestly, like and their side of things, because I do, especially on bars too. I'll talk about like my rotation and my hips and my angles and like all that stuff. But now they're just like, yeah, like now they don't care. They're
Leave
probably
us
like, Kinsey, shut up.
Yeah, right. Do you go back and watch any of their performances and go, Mom, what was that? Like what was going on here?
No, I know that we have like home DVDs somewhere in the storage unit,
And you
but
don't
I
want?
I want to watch them, but they're like I don't know where they are.
There's
Like,
nothing online?
my dad has a lot online.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not my mom doesn't have much online, but I know I've seen her before because bars was her thing and she could circle really well and she had, bars was definitely her forte. So I know I've seen that somewhere.
Just ask Coach Brink.
Oh, they're
Hey,
definitely
hey.
moving those DVDs around. Like, even if
No,
you ever get close
if
to
my
them,
mom is
if
watching
you
it-
ever get close to them, they're like, all right, we got to move them. She got
Yeah,
she got
I'm
way too
asking.
close.
I literally asked to watch videos. I'm the most like romanticize the past, like nostalgic person, like out of especially my siblings. Like I'm very like I want to see stuff, and they're like you're never gonna find that. So I'm like, but not in a way if they don't want me to see it, but like we moved and it's somewhere and they don't know where.
Well, the
and-
magic.
They
Yeah,
know-
they
they
still
know
they
that
know
they're lying to me.
Yeah, they know exactly where they are.
They know.
Mom and Dad, come on. We know you know exactly where they are. So you're a football fan, and it warms my heart that you're a Panthers fan. Baker Mayfield to your Panthers. How do you feel?
Okay, I know there's some controversial, opinions about where he came from, as a person, which honestly, I don't know too much about that. So I'm like kind of uneducated. But I know that people say, his behaviors or whatever. Football wise, I think he's going to bring good competition to the team. And I think that, it would be useful to have him around. And I think that hopefully it'll help the team. Hopefully he's a good teammate. Hopefully this is a fresh start.
We're hoping.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know that much about him, so I can't really say like, oh, I really don't think it's going to be good or he's going to be the best thing ever.
Sometimes that's good. Sometimes you just want to be a fan.
I'm just going to wait and see.
Yeah, well, there's nothing
then
wrong.
I'll form an opinion.
There's nothing wrong with that. So you actually spent some time. You spent a day down there with them. What's going on with that? What happened with that?
Well, I got to tour the Bank of America Stadium and everywhere. I got to see. I'm a communications major and minor in broadcasting, so I got to see, where they kind of read what they talk in the camera and like where they kind of film like interviews and where they conduct things, and each room has a different thing. I saw this podcast room where the walls were like all carpeted and like covered, so like it really is soundproof. So there's like a lot of real detail in these rooms and the jobs that go on within there. And I got to see a few jerseys and helmets, of course, which was so cool. And I got to see where the digital team, along with like the photographer and some of the media people sit, and how they come up with their ideas and how they work together on like what they want to see on the social page, how they're going to get it, and then come up with like a digital design for it. So I kind of got to see where certain people who have their jobs work. And yeah, it was kind of overwhelming. I was like trying to take some notes in my phone, but yeah, I definitely learned a lot, and it was a lot. I was there for a while, so
that's going to be pretty cool. We may put you to work here with some football coverage.
Oh gosh,
have you around some other sports, and
that'd be good because I need to learn.
Yeah,
so I need to.
We're here for it. So when do you think you want to step back in and take over Monday nights? You're back in town. Are you going to go back? Are you taking some trips? But when are you going to be here?
I will be here probably until Christmas, because I'll definitely be here the 5 weeks starts today, 5
Okay.
week summer session. I took a class the last 5 weeks. So this 5 weeks I have off, but I'm here training, lifting weights. We had 630 weights this morning.
Yikes.
So I'm here for the next 5 weeks. And then that will, kind of go right into August, which there is a portion of time where I think we can technically leave for like a week or so and then come back. Like it's no mandatory practice or anything, but I'm not sure that I will go just because my parents will come here in September and it kind of is a short time. So I'll probably be around definitely I can commit to the next 5 weeks.
Okay.
But then once August starts, same thing. I'm going to have to be here. So
Yeah.
I will be here.
Well, then I tell you what, we'll reach out. We'll get you on once a week so you can just get used to having the headphones and the microphone.
That'd be great.
And we'll do that for you.
I'll be here once a week. Good.
Give Coach a high five for me when you see her. That's good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. And then maybe by next week you'll have a name. We'll have a name
I'll come
for
up
this.
with some stuff.
Yeah, we'll come up with something. Kenzie, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
It's a great hour. You can look forward to it. Again, Kinsey Davis, Huskers women's gymnastics. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. The Captain Show up next here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.